What if Psalm 107 holds the key to understanding gratitude? Verse 1 calls us to give thanks for his goodness. In verse 2, the redeemed are encouraged to speak out. Verse 3 reminds us of the gathering of the outcasts. Verse 4 speaks of wandering in the wilderness, lost. In verse 5, hunger and thirst symbolize our deep needs. Verse 6 shows the cry for help that leads to salvation. Verse 7 highlights the guidance through the right path. In verse 8, the call to thankfulness is reiterated. Verse 9 speaks of satisfaction and fulfillment. Verse 10 describes those in darkness and shadow. In verse 11, rebellion leads to suffering. Verse 12 shows the consequences of their actions. Verse 13 reveals the cry for help once more. In verse 14, darkness turns to light. Verse 15 emphasizes the importance of gratitude. Verse 16 speaks of deliverance from oppression. In verse 17, the foolish suffer for their ways. Verse 18 highlights the danger of ignoring wisdom. Verse 19 shows the cry for help again. In verse 20, healing comes through his word. Verse 21 calls for praise for his goodness. Verse 22 emphasizes sharing stories of his wonders. Verse 23 describes those who go to sea. In verse 24, they see his wonders in the deep. Verse 25 shows the power of his command. In verse 26, the sailors are amazed. Verse 27 depicts their fear and confusion. Verse 28 shows their cry for help once again. In verse 29, he calms the storm. Verse 30 highlights their joy and relief. In verse 31, we are reminded to give thanks. Verse 32 calls for recognition among the people. Verse 33 shows the transformation of the land. In verse 34, the fruitful land becomes barren. Verse 35 depicts the miraculous change. In verse 36, he leads the hungry to a city. Verse 37 shows the abundance of harvest. In verse 38, he blesses them with increase. Verse 39 speaks of their decline and suffering. In verse 40, he watches over the oppressed. Verse 41 shows the lifting of the needy. Finally, verse 42 reminds us of his faithfulness. In verse 43, the wise will heed these lessons.